All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema Wan from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And today I want to go into a lesson titled, What an Amazing Time, or What an Amazing Age we are in. Filtering out the actions that are taking place on this earth, filtering them through the scriptures gives us assurance that we're in the last of the last days. So that's why it's necessary to possess our souls, while we go through these moments. Because according to the scriptures, it tells us that it'll be better to be able to live to see it all unfold than to be taken out. Roughly paraphrasing what's written in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. But I was just meditating on how, just thinking about the time of never before, Jeremiah 30:7, Daniel, the 12th chapter, Matthew, the 24th chapter, how it's going to be a time like never before, going into the troubles and the perilous times. But at the same time, it mentions, the ones who are able to make it through those times. That's something that's going to be different, man, because matter of fact, let me just read it. Let me go there. 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and verse 16. But I'm going to read it in the GNT. It just had me meditating on that. Because Esau tries to push the fear. Shit to fear is going to get so bad, and you won't be able to do this, and this will happen. You can't do this, you can't do that. But the scriptures don't change. Regardless of what takes place on the earth, or put it like this, regardless of what man says, that doesn't change what the Lord said. Just because Esau say you got to put in at least 40 hours a week, in order to sustain a family or a household, that's not according to the scriptures. Just little examples like that. Because Esau said, you don't do this, so you can't have that. That's not according to prophecy or the scriptures, man, when it comes to certain things. And just thinking about the last days that we're in, as Yahweh Shai made mention, least the days be short, but he's going to shorten the days for the elect's sake. So showing you how terrible of a time it's going to be in, or how terrible of a time it's going to be. But through these scriptures we're about to read, we're going to see how exciting and how, I don't know the right word to say, how exciting and how, privileged it will be to be able to see these things unfold. And just off top, Sirach 25:7, being able to witness the downfall of your enemy. That's something that's going to be exciting within itself, But with that being said, let me get into it. And I pray this lesson be edifying to the Lord's elect. So I'm going to start here in Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 and verse 16 in the GNT. It says, I have been thinking how terrible it will be for the people who will be living in those days. Speaking about the last times. It says, but how much worse for those who do not survive. And in the context, it's not meaning how much worse for those who do not survive because they got to die. It's not according to that context. The next two verses, or the next verse, will explain it. So verse 17, it says, they will be in great sorrow. Yeah, the people that will still be living, the people that will still be living on this earth in the end of the end times, right? You're going to be in great sorrows. That's inevitable. The scriptures tell us that. So for those who think it's going to be peace and safety, you haven't misunderstood. Before the Lord makes his return, this place is going to be divided and broken down. As the scriptures say, how can... Man, I might be getting two scriptures mixed up. But going into how a kingdom divided cannot stand, but also going into how, how can it be overtaken unless the strong man be bound? Roughly paraphrasing, that's what's finna take place to America, Babylon the Great. Okay? The rulers that be, they're not going to be standing too much longer. They're not going to be in authority too much longer. Because there's going to be division. And ultimately, the Lord has, a decree on, their limits. So it won't be prolonged. But going on, it says, they will be in great sorrow pertaining to the people who will be living in those days. But verse 18, it says, because they will not enjoy any of the pleasures reserved for the last days. And that applies to the later end of verse 16 in the NLT. In the GNT. 2 Ezra 13 and 16, the later end, it says, but how much worse for those who do not survive? In verse 18 is the answer. It says, because they will not enjoy any of the pleasures reserved for the last days. So that's why, not because they didn't make it. No, because it's about to be a lot of the glory and the power and the presence of the Lord displayed on this earth. Just imagine in the ancient Egyptian captivity when Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, right? Imagine not making it to seeing the Gulf of Suez be divided and walking on dry ground. That's something that you missed out on, so to speak. So just likening unto these days, times are troublous. The enemy is coming down with great wrath. He's on your neck. But if we're still able to make it, the Lord is going to show his power. Just like he did in the ancient times. The Lord is still the same. And these scriptures verify it, man. Because we're in the last days. So these things are going to happen. We're not just here to be a fucking doormat or a punching bag. Esau ain't finna get the last lick. Esau is not gonna get the last lick. Because of prophecy's sake. Because of what prophecy mentions. That's how we know Esau ain't finna just, how they say, make his bed and lay in it. Or make the cake and eat it, so to speak. So, again, the later end of verse 16, it says, but how much worse for those who do not survive? They will be in great sorrow. Verse 18, pertaining to the ones that do not survive in the last days. Why? Because they will not enjoy any of the pleasures reserved for the last days. And the pleasures reserved for the last days, it makes me think about the miracles, the intervention that the Lord is gonna bring, and how the Lord is gonna deal. Let me get this in not second Ezra, the book of Sirach, chapter 36, in verse 1, because this is something that I've been meditating on after reading that verse. Sirach, or Ecclesiastes, chapter 36, in verse 1, it reads, O Lord God of the universe, look upon us and have mercy. Make every nation stand in fear of you. Take action against the foreign nations and let them witness your power. Yeah, that's a part of them great, how did it say? In 2 Ezra 13. Some of the enjoyable pleasures reserved for the last days. a part of that is seeing how the Lord is going to deal with our enemies, man. Again, Sirach chapter 36 in verse 3, it says, take action against the foreign nations and let them witness your power. You have used us, the Israelites, to show them how holy you are. Didn't he separate us? You know, he made a covenant with us, gave promises to us. He gave the, how does it say in Romans, the 9th chapter? The covenant, the promises, the glory. And it's something else. Let me just look it up. It slips in my mind. Romans chapter 9. Let me see. Romans 9. And I'm going to start at 4. It says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises. That's what it was, the service of the Most High. Yeah, the Lord allowed that to happen unto the nation of Israel. He allotted that unto Israel. That's Israel's portion. So just like that was a significant standout, you know, dividing us from any other nation. Again, Sirach 36 in verse 4, you have used us, the Israelites, to show them, the other nations, how holy you are. Now use them, the other nations, to show us how great you are. So just like the Lord used us to separate us from every other nation, we want to see the power of the Lord through the actions that are going to be taking place on these nations. You know, the judgments and the power that's going to be revealed from the Lord to actually, you know, grip and not let loose from these nations, man, because that's the times that we're in. It's about to be an overthrow. You know, the downfall of a nation doesn't come so nice and sweet. You know, the overthrow, especially before the nation of Yashar Allah, you know, the kingdom is returned back to its rightful owners. It's going to be something amazing to see and enjoyable to see as we just read in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. But back in Sirach 36 in verse 5, continuing on, it says, let them learn as we have learned that there is no God, O Lord, but you. And the judgments that are going to be taking place, they won't be hand off to anybody else. Nobody is going to get credit. No thing is going to get credit. But it's going to be just an example of the Lord's power. So showing you how great it's going to be. It's going to be undeniable. That's the only way you could think of. Whenever you saw the Red Sea or the Gulf of Suez divide and the Israelites walk on dry ground, what did that? You know, what source allowed that to happen? It's the same type of effect that's going to be taking place in 2024, 2025, Lord willing. You know, where you can't give credit to no damn HARP system, or you can't give credit to Bill Gates. You know, through the wickedness and the devices, you know, that the wicked come with. But even with that, it's still the Lord's will. It's still the Lord's doing. You know, but looking forward to the type of judgments where not even a damn heathen could give credit to anything else, but absolutely acknowledge the Lord, man, because it's going to be that present. You know, it's going to be that much pressure on them now. And that's what we look forward to, man. Because the last days, yeah, you know, the saints are going to be worn out. The enemy is going to come in rushing like a flood. It's going to be a time like never before, the time of Jacob's trouble. But at the same time, we still hope for what we're reading in Sirach 36. You know, the Lord to show his power, you know, through how he judges these nations, man. And Lord willing, we could witness that. But let me keep reading. It says, verse 6, it says, give new signs, perform new miracles, Show us your glorious strength. And you can read about the old accounts that took place. So if it's something new, it's going to be so far beyond what we expect. Nobody expected the Lord to split the Red Sea. Nobody expected the Lord to, have, 3 days of complete darkness on the Egyptians. But for the Israelites, they weren't touched or harmed. Or the Passover. Every firstborn of the Egyptians or anybody who didn't put the blood on the posts of their door, like those things that we can read about that actually took place. It's going to be new signs and new wonders and new miracles, man. So that's why it's going to be an exciting time to, be able to survive in the last days, regardless of how perilous they might be. That's just for that fuel, not to be troubled in the mind, speaking for myself first and foremost, because there's going to be some strange shit going on. The most underdog story, but the word of the Lord does not change. The words of the Lord do not change, no matter what the situation might be. Then we got another baby on the way. Man, I lost my job. Man, we lost the house. How we go get this? But the words of the Lord does not change. Don't lose focus. That doesn't change the fact that, the Lord said he was going to feed his servants. He was going to allow his servants to drink. They were going to be taken care of. The heathen were going to envy you. Those that are with young are going to be in the Lord's bosom, and so on and so forth. Precepts that we could look back upon. The Lord is going to even take those that are sick. Right? Be with those that are sick and have ailments. Like, that doesn't change what the Lord said. It's just the fact of adjusting and, trying to make the correct adjustments for the time being. Because this is going to happen. This is going to take place. The Lord is balanced, bro. So these heathen aren't finna just go out with a little, a little taste of judgment. No, they're going to get the full thing. But let me keep reading. Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and verse 7 in the GNT, it says, "Bring on that appointed time when everyone can talk about the great things you do. Pour out your furious, flaming anger and let none of your enemies survive. Destroy those who have oppressed your people." So judgment is coming upon these heathens. Primarily, judgment is coming upon America, man. Babylon the Great and those, that have taken part in our oppression. That's absolutely coming. It's inevitable. But it says, verse 10, "Crush all those enemy rulers who think they are the only people in the world who matter." Now, that stands out by itself. Esau, Edom, that fits you. These niggas think that they are the only people on earth who matter. So therefore, the Lord is going to hear that prayer. It's written. We read it. And we're in the days where we can see it take place. We can see when the Lord is going to crush all those enemy rulers who think they are the only people in the world who matter. Because little do they know, the Lord does not change. The Lord still has the apple of his eye set on the nation of Israel. How it mentions Zion is basically carved on his hand and he can't forget it. Can a mother forget her children? Yea. But the Lord can't, because we're a graven image upon the palm of his hand, roughly paraphrasing. So yeah, but the times that we're in are going to be perilous, as long as the Lord allows us to keep going. But at the same time, as long as we're here, look forward to seeing the tables turn, man. Just, the Lord said he was going to do it, so that's it. No matter what Esau says, no matter how hard he makes it, the Lord's word it does not return unto him void. Okay? Now let me go back to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. Pick up where I left off. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 in verse, I'm going to just start at 16 again. It says, I have been thinking how terrible it will be for the people who will be living in those days, the last days. But how much worse for those who do not survive. Verse 17, they will be in great sorrow. That pertains to everybody that's living in the last days. Verse 18, this pertains to those that don't survive. You know, why it's going to be so much worse for those that don't survive? Why? Because they will not enjoy any of the pleasures reserved for the last days. Again, Sirach 25:7 is going to be a joyful thing to witness the downfall of your enemy, because the Lord is going to be doing new signs, new wonders, miracles. You know, very spiritual things are going to be taking place on this earth, because it's the days of the Lord's return approaching. You know, it only makes sense. So that's the importance of being able to endure until the end, because it's not just going to be a time of just fucking catching hell and like, damn, bro, fuck. No, it's going to be a time of witnessing things, bearing witness to what's about to be written and recorded, you know, forever. So continuing on, it says, verse 19, how terrible also for those who do survive. They will have to face great dangers and many troubles, as these dreams have shown. So there's no escape. You know, for anybody who thinks America's going to bounce back, or the economy is going to bounce back, or things are going to go back to normal, that's a lie. Get that out of your head and acknowledge prophecy. You know, get your head out the dirt and acknowledge prophecy. Because it says, verse 19 again, 2nd Ezra 13 and 19 in the GNT, how terrible also for those who do survive. They will have to face great dangers and many troubles, as these dreams have shown. And nevertheless, it is better to pass through these dangers and reach the end than to disappear like a cloud from this world and never see what takes place in the last days, he answered. So yeah, so being able to endure, you know, it makes me think about 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, to undergo the sufferings, the temptations without breaking, you know, having faith and hope that the Lord isn't going to give you anything that you can't bear. You know, so being able to make it until the end, no matter how fucked up of a situation we think it might be. As long as we still here and seeing these things, it's an amazing time to be alive. We're alive in the age, you know, of the Lord's return, pretty much, man. And Lord willing, we're able to see these things take place, you know, still being upright in the spirit. But that's something that I just had on my spirit. You know, a few more precepts came into mind, but for time's sakes, just thinking about it, you know, it's not just the woe is me. The woe is me. It's nah, man, the Lord is finna show himself, show his power through the way he's gonna judge these nations also. We know it's a time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob's about to get their ass smacked. But at the same time, these heathen aren't finna just get away scot-free. Esau damn sure ain't. You know, what is that? Lamentations, the 4th chapter, verse 21 and 22. You know, but that was pretty much it. So with that, I pray this was edifying to the Lord's elect. Just, you know, something to look forward to. You know, if the Lord has mercy to allow us to still be here. It's not just looking forward to the hell we're about to catch. You know, the glory and the power that we're about to see, you know, the Lord reveal. So with that, I pray this was edifying to the Lord's elect. Until the next time, I say shalom.